Liam sat on the worn-out couch in his small apartment, staring at the half-empty fridge. The room smelled faintly of old books and coffee, a comforting scent he had grown used to over the months. The clock ticked slowly, each second feeling heavier than the last. He was thinking about how hard it had been lately, bills piling up, work not paying enough, and now, the rent was due. A soft knock on the door broke his thoughts. Liam's heart skipped a beat. He knew exactly who it was. Emma, his landlord, the woman who had been kind yet firm since the day he moved in, stood there with her calm expression. She had this ability to stay composed, even when others would show frustration or impatience. Liam admired it, though today, he felt a little nervous. "You want your rent?" Emma asked softly, her voice calm, almost gentle. It wasn't a question filled with anger or annoyance, but there was a seriousness in her eyes. She folded her arms and waited, watching Liam closely. Liam leaned back on the couch, his mind racing. He could feel the tension in the air, the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. He thought about what he had to offer her. Money was tight. He had barely enough to cover his food and electricity. But then, an idea formed in his mind, a thought that felt right, though it was risky. Instead of fumbling for coins or apologizing, Liam smiled. It was a slow smile, calm and steady, and it seemed to confuse Emma. She raised an eyebrow, tilting her head slightly, as if trying to read his mind. Liam felt a little thrill run through him. He had always believed that some things were more valuable than money. Kindness, understanding, and genuine effort could sometimes mean more. "I don't have your rent today," Liam said quietly, his voice carrying a gentle confidence. "But I can give you something better." Emma's eyes widened slightly, surprise flickering across her calm face. She tilted her head again, her curiosity piqued. "Better than money?" she asked, her tone cautious but intrigued. Liam nodded. He didn't explain yet. He wanted her to feel the suspense, to wonder what he could possibly offer. He stood up and moved toward the window, looking out at the quiet street below. The winter sun was setting, casting a soft orange glow that filled the small apartment with warmth. Liam felt a calmness settle over him, a certainty that he was about to do something meaningful, something that could touch someone's heart. Emma watched him silently, waiting. There was no rush in her stance, no anger, just quiet observation. Liam turned back to her, holding a small envelope in his hand. He didn't hand it to her yet. Instead, he smiled again, letting the moment stretch, letting her anticipation build. This was not just about paying rent, it was about showing someone the value of a simple act, a sincere gesture that came from the heart. He thought about all the people he had helped in the past, neighbors who needed a hand with groceries, friends who were down and needed someone to listen. He thought about how each act had given him a sense of fulfillment far greater than any paycheck. That feeling of doing something meaningful, of being truly present for someone, was priceless. Emma's calm demeanor started to show subtle signs of curiosity. She leaned slightly forward, her hands still folded but her eyes sharp, attentive. Liam could see the shift. She was no longer just a landlord asking for rent. She was a person, intrigued and ready to see what he would do. "Why?" Emma asked finally, her voice soft, almost a whisper. "Why would you give me something else instead of the rent?" Liam's smile deepened. "Because sometimes what people need isn't money," he said quietly. "Sometimes, they need understanding. They need someone to care, to show them that they are not alone. And today, I want to give you that." For a moment, the apartment was filled with silence. Emma's eyes softened, and she slowly nodded, though she didn't fully understand yet. Liam felt a spark of hope, the kind that grows quietly in moments of sincerity and truth. Outside, the world continued as usual, unaware of the small, meaningful exchange happening in a tiny apartment. Inside, the air was charged with possibility. Liam's gesture had not yet been revealed, but the suspense was enough to hold attention. Emma didn't leave. She stayed, waiting for him to show her what he truly meant. And that was the hook, the start of a story that promised warmth, emotion, and a moral that went beyond money. Liam's calm smile, the mysterious envelope, and Emma's quiet curiosity set the stage. The audience could feel the tension and the anticipation, wondering what act of kindness could possibly be more valuable than the rent. Liam knew the journey had just begun. And as he reached for the envelope, the room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the moment when he would reveal the heart of his offer, the moment when something ordinary would become extraordinary. Liam held the envelope carefully in his hands, feeling its weight, not heavy, but full of meaning. He could see Emma standing by the doorway, her calm eyes fixed on him. She didn't move, didn't ask any more questions, just waited. There was a silent understanding between them. This wasn't going to be ordinary. He opened the envelope slowly, letting the paper inside catch the fading sunlight. It wasn't money. It was something personal. Liam had written a note, but it wasn't just words. It was a story of gratitude, a reflection of all the moments Emma had unknowingly influenced him. Every time she smiled, every time she nodded when he needed encouragement, he had felt supported. He wanted her to understand the ripple effect of her kindness. Emma's eyes followed his movements, curiosity growing. "Liam, what is this?" she asked, her voice a mix of confusion and intrigue. "It's just a small way to show my appreciation," Liam replied gently. "I know I can't pay rent right now, but I can share this with you. Something from my heart." Emma tilted her head, still unsure what to expect. Liam unfolded the letter slowly, reading aloud, but softly, so the words felt like a quiet confession. "Emma, your patience and understanding mean more to me than words can say. You have given me more than a place to stay. You have given me hope, trust, and belief in human kindness. I hope one day I can return even a fraction of what you have given me." The room felt warmer as Liam spoke. Emma blinked, her lips slightly parted, clearly moved by his words. She wasn't expecting this. Most people paid rent quietly, maybe complained about the amount, but Liam had given her a gift she didn't know she needed. She was beginning to see that there was more to this young man than his empty pockets. As Liam finished, he handed the letter to Emma. "I hope you understand," he said softly. "I wanted to give you something that matters. Something real." Emma took the letter, her fingers brushing against his. She felt a strange mix of emotions, surprise, admiration, and a touch of embarrassment. She had always thought of her tenants in practical terms: rent on time, rules followed, expectations met. But here was Liam, reminding her of the human side she sometimes forgot. Liam stepped back, giving her space, but his eyes never left hers. "I don't have the rent today," he said again, "but I have something I hope will stay with you longer than money ever could." Emma slowly read through the letter, her expression softening with each line. She couldn't help but wonder, how could someone with so little still have so much to give? There was a richness in Liam's words, a depth that money could never buy. She realized that this young man had more courage and heart than many people she had known. The silence in the room was filled with anticipation. Emma wanted to respond, but she wasn't sure how. Liam's gesture was unexpected, yet it carried a calm confidence that made her feel safe, appreciated, and curious all at once. The suspense of what would happen next lingered, keeping the audience on edge. Would Emma accept this non-monetary gift? Would she be able to see the value in it? Outside, the street lights flickered on as dusk settled over the city. Inside, time seemed to slow down. Liam and Emma were not just landlord and tenant anymore. They were two humans sharing a meaningful moment, connected by an unexpected act of generosity. Emma looked up from the letter. "Liam, I don't know what to say," she murmured. Her voice was soft, but it carried an unspoken admiration. This is not what I expected." Liam smiled gently. "You don't have to say anything. Just know that it comes from a place of respect and gratitude." Her curiosity turned into reflection. She couldn't help but replay the moment in her mind, thinking about how often she had overlooked small gestures of kindness around her. This one moment, this simple act, had begun to change her perspective. She wondered what other surprises life might hold if people looked beyond money, beyond obligations, to the heart. The envelope remained in her hands, but its impact lingered far beyond the paper. Liam's calm, heartfelt approach created a tension in the room that was both suspenseful and warm. The audience could feel it too, the anticipation of what Liam might do next, and how Emma would respond. The story was no longer just about rent, It was about understanding, emotional connection, and the unexpected ways people can touch each other's lives. Liam extended his hand slowly, holding the letter gently. Emma looked at him, her calm expression tinged with curiosity and a hint of surprise. She had expected him to stumble, to give excuses or apologies, but instead, he offered something heartfelt. The weight of the moment was heavier than any rent payment. He spoke softly, his voice steady but warm. "Emma, I know I can't pay rent right now, but I want to give you something that matters more. Something from my heart." Emma's eyes softened slightly. She wasn't sure what to expect, but she felt a shift in the room. The tension from earlier seemed to dissolve into quiet anticipation. Liam unfolded the letter carefully, reading aloud softly so that every word carried its meaning. "Emma, your patience and understanding have meant more to me than you realize. You've given me hope, trust, and belief in the kindness of people. I want to give back, even if I can't pay in money, by sharing this gratitude and respect." Emma's eyes widened as she listened. Her lips parted slightly, and a faint blush crossed her cheeks. Liam's words were simple, yet their meaning cut deeper than she had expected. He wasn't just trying to impress her, he was showing genuine emotion, a connection she hadn't felt in a long time. It made her pause, reflect, and even smile softly. I don't know what to say," Emma whispered, her voice barely above a breath. "This isn't what I expected." Liam gave a calm smile. "You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to see that sometimes, what we give from the heart can matter more than anything else." Emma reached out slowly, taking the letter from him. The touch was gentle, hesitant, but meaningful. She could feel the care and thought behind it. It wasn't just paper, it was a message, a bridge connecting two human hearts. For the first time, she felt that the relationship between tenant and landlord could hold more meaning than mere transactions. Liam leaned back slightly, giving her space, but his gaze remained steady, full of sincerity. "I've learned that the best things in life can't be bought. Gratitude, understanding, and connection, they are priceless." Emma's emotions began to show. Her eyes glistened slightly, reflecting the soft evening light, and she gave a small nod. "I think I see what you mean. I've been so focused on rules and obligations that I forgot the human side of things." For a moment, the apartment felt suspended in time. Outside, the evening sun cast long shadows, but inside, warmth and understanding filled the space. The audience could feel the emotional intensity, the suspense of what would happen next, and the beauty of a heartfelt gesture. Liam's calm and thoughtful approach had shifted the dynamic, turning a tense moment into one of connection and sincerity. Emma read the letter again, silently this time, her mind reflecting on Liam's words. She felt gratitude, curiosity, and admiration mingling within her. She realized that this gesture was more than a simple act, it was a demonstration of courage, kindness, and honesty. Liam watched her carefully, knowing that the seed of emotional connection had been planted. The room was quiet, yet full of feeling. The suspense wasn't gone, it had transformed into anticipation for what Emma might do next. The audience could sense that the story was moving deeper into heart and soul, beyond any simple monetary exchange. Emma sat quietly on the small couch, still holding Liam's letter. She had read it over and over in her mind, each line revealing a depth of feeling she hadn't expected. Liam's words weren't just thoughtful, they were a reflection of a character she had only begun to understand. For the first time, she realized that sometimes, the most valuable things in life couldn't be counted or measured. Liam watched her closely, noticing the subtle changes in her expression. There was a softness in her eyes, a glimmer of realization that what he had offered was more than a simple gesture. It was a reminder that kindness, empathy, and genuine concern held more power than money or material value. He had hoped this would touch her, but seeing her process it in real time was something entirely different. Emma finally looked up, her voice calm but tinged with reflection. "Liam, I think I understand now. You're saying that what matters isn't the rent or the money, but the heart behind our actions." Liam nodded. "Exactly. You've always been fair and patient with me, even when I struggled. I wanted to give you something that shows I notice that. Something that truly matters." The room felt different now. There was a quiet energy, a moral weight that lingered in the air. Emma's usual focus on rules and payments had shifted to reflection and understanding. She realized that her interactions with tenants and people in general were often transactional, and she had missed out on the emotional connections that could make life richer. "I never thought of it that way," Emma admitted, her voice soft. "I've always focused on what people owe me, not what we can give each other." Liam smiled gently. "That's okay. We all get caught up in that sometimes. But every once in a while, there's a chance to do something different. Something that leaves a mark on someone's heart." Emma's eyes softened further. She could feel the truth in his words. Liam's gesture had given her a moment of clarity, a chance to see the bigger picture. She was beginning to understand that the moral of this story wasn't just about rent, it was about the value of empathy, the power of small but meaningful acts, and how genuine kindness could transform ordinary moments into something extraordinary. For a few moments, they sat in silence, letting the realization sink in. Outside, the sun had set completely, and the city lights glimmered through the window. Inside, the small apartment felt warm, almost alive with the shared understanding between the two of them. Emma finally spoke again, her tone thoughtful. "Liam, I want to thank you. Not just for this letter, but for reminding me of something important. I think I needed this more than I realized." Liam felt a wave of relief and gratitude. "I'm glad it reached you. That was my hope." The suspense of the situation had shifted from uncertainty to emotional revelation. Emma's moral realization created a turning point. The audience could feel it too, the quiet power of a moment that carried more significance than money or obligation. Liam's calm and sincere approach had transformed a simple interaction into a lesson about empathy and the true value of generosity. Emma held the letter close, her mind filled with thoughts she hadn't expected. The warmth of Liam's gesture lingered in the room, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of calm, even admiration, for the young man in front of her. She had always seen him as just a tenant, someone responsible for paying rent, but now she began to see him in a different light. Liam noticed the change in her demeanor. He took a cautious step closer, his eyes soft but filled with sincerity. "I didn't mean to overwhelm you," he said quietly. "I just wanted you to know that actions from the heart matter more than any money we exchange." Emma nodded slowly, still absorbing his words. "I can feel that," she replied, her voice gentle. It's surprising to realize that someone sees and appreciates you so deeply." For a moment, the room was filled with a quiet energy, a shared understanding that went beyond the usual landlord-tenant dynamic. Liam spoke of his own struggles, of how he had learned to find value in simple acts of kindness, and Emma listened intently. She began to open up about her own life too, about the pressures she felt to maintain everything, to manage expectations, and how sometimes she forgot the human connection behind the transactions. This conversation deepened their bond. It wasn't about rent anymore, it was about recognition, empathy, and the beauty of small, meaningful gestures. Liam's calm honesty encouraged Emma to reflect on her own choices and the way she approached her relationships with others. As the minutes passed, the tension that had been in the room gradually transformed into understanding and warmth. Emma realized that Liam's non-monetary gift was not just a one-time gesture, it was a symbol of trust, respect, and the potential for human connection. She began to see how powerful small acts of kindness could be, and how they could create ripples that touched people's hearts in unexpected ways. "I think I understand what you mean, Liam," Emma said softly, a gentle smile forming on her face. "It's not about the money or the rules. It's about how we treat each other, how we care, and how we make someone feel valued." Liam nodded, feeling a sense of relief and joy. "Exactly. That's all I wanted you to see." Emma's reflection brought a quiet resolution to the moment. She felt lighter, more connected, and even inspired to approach her interactions with others differently. Liam's gesture had created a bridge between them, built not on financial obligations but on mutual respect and understanding. Outside, the city lights twinkled against the night sky, while inside, the small apartment glowed with a sense of peace and emotional connection. Liam and Emma shared a meaningful look, both acknowledging the change that had occurred between them. There was no need for words, the unspoken understanding said it all. Emma held the letter in her hands, feeling its weight not in paper, but in emotion. She looked at Liam, her eyes soft, reflecting a mix of gratitude and realization. This young man, who had struggled to pay rent, had given her something far greater than money. He had offered a gift of the heart, a gesture filled with sincerity, understanding, and kindness. Liam's calm smile encouraged her to speak. "Emma, I hope you understand what I meant earlier. It's not about rent. It's about caring, about seeing each other as human beings first." Emma nodded, a warm smile forming on her lips. "I do, Liam. I see it now. Your gesture reminded me of something important, that the small acts of kindness, the attention to someone's heart, can be more valuable than any amount of money." The room felt lighter, filled with a quiet joy and understanding. Emma folded the letter carefully, her mind reflecting on the emotional journey that had taken place. She thought about her own life, the moments she had overlooked, and how she could start noticing and appreciating the small gestures of others. "Thank you, Liam," she said softly. This means a lot to me. Not just the words, but the thought and care behind them. I won't forget this." Liam felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had wanted to show her that real value lay in emotional connection, in empathy and understanding. Seeing her response confirmed that his gesture had reached its mark. They shared a quiet moment, simply looking at each other, feeling the bond that had formed. Outside, the city lights twinkled, but inside, the glow of a shared understanding shone brighter. Emma realized that human connection and emotional generosity were priceless, and Liam knew that he had done something meaningful that day. "Liam," Emma said finally, her voice steady and warm, "I may not have expected this, but I'm glad it happened. You reminded me that kindness matters, and that the heart can be richer than money ever will." He nodded. "That's all I hope to show you. Sometimes, the best gifts are the ones we don't see coming, and the ones that can't be bought." The audience could feel the resolution, the gentle closure, and the heartfelt impact of this story. Liam's gesture had transformed a simple landlord-tenant interaction into a moment of emotional growth, reflection, and connection. Emma's acceptance of this gift symbolized the understanding that true generosity and care come from the heart. As the story ended, viewers were left with a sense of warmth and inspiration, reminded that even in small acts, we can touch lives deeply. The story concluded with the moral clearly shining through. The value of human connection, empathy, and genuine kindness is immeasurable, far beyond money or obligation. The camera might linger on the folded letter, resting on the table, as Liam and Emma share a quiet, understanding smile. It's a simple image, yet it carries the weight of the entire story, an emotional reminder that the heart's gestures can leave lasting impressions. And with that, the tale of Liam and Emma came to a heartfelt close, leaving the audience inspired, thoughtful, and moved by the simple, profound power of human kindness.